Imagine you're skipping to the ballot drop box in your area with your absentee ballot in hand, so excited to vote on this crisp fall day. And as you slide the ballot into the box,
you notice there's a stranger standing a few feet away taking a picture of you and uploading it to the internet.
That might shatter your perfect peaceful day of voting for the next president.
Well, that's what's happening around the country thanks to conservative vote monitoring group True the Vote, which launched Vote Alert, an app that's been called a Facebook for election deniers.
It allows literally anyone to upload pictures and claims of suspicious activity that they see and communicate with this community of people that describe themselves as the front line of election protection. We've seen it described as a one-stop shop for your election conspiracy needs.
They even claim they're setting up live streams of drop boxes in battleground states.
The founder is calling it a ballot drop box surveillance reality show and is donating these AI cameras to sheriffs around the country in states like Wisconsin. They want to live stream these drop boxes to actually watch people vote.
Because they're convinced that Democrats are stuffing ballot boxes with fake absentee votes.
Yeah, and they're saying they've developed this super advanced AI software to monitor these disturbances.
But local officials in charge of elections in Wisconsin worry that round-the-clock surveillance would be like voter intimidation.
It doesn't seem like the live stream is up yet, but we still wanted to check out the app with all of you. Okay, so this is the Vote Alert website. It just seems like people are kind of updating everyone in the community about things that are going on. Machine not registering correct vote. After selecting Trump, it shows Harris. Okay, so a picture of early voting.
Okay, that's totally legal. Several people voting at least twice. Whoa. There's an accusation of ballot harvesting or trafficking.
Some surveillance video picture.
But yeah, it says it shows her moving around the back.
It just seems to encourage this kind of sleuthing behavior.
Across the board, technology has proven to be the biggest tool election deniers and interferers are using to sow doubt, target voters, and try to undermine the democratic process. In January, thousands of voters in New Hampshire received robocalls featuring an AI-generated impersonation or deepfake of Joe Biden telling them that if they voted in the Democratic primary, they wouldn't be able to vote in November's election.
It's important that you save your vote for the November election. Voting this Tuesday only enables the Republicans in their quest to elect Donald Trump again.
Which is clearly a lie, trying to dissuade them from voting.
The political consultant behind the robocalls is actually facing a $6 million fine and more than 24 criminal charges. And the Federal Communications Commission said that this is its first fine involving AI generative technology. The political consultant, in response to all of this, has said, maybe I'm a villain today, but I think in the end we get a better country and better democracy because of what I've done deliberately.
Other ways AI has played a role in this election. Campaigns now use AI to gather information on their constituents so they can better target them and play to their interests. OpenAI said they've seen a number of attempts to generate fake content like fake articles or social media comments that are aimed at influencing elections.
The Washington Post just uncovered this former sheriff from Florida who fled to Moscow and is now pumping out deepfakes targeting the Harris campaign and has garnered 64 million views.
Oh my gosh.
And it's kind of disturbing. There's deepfake audio of Obama claiming that Democrats ordered Trump's assassination. And there's fake video that Tim Walz abused a high school student where he taught. So there are lots of scary circumstances like this popping up as we get closer to the election. So let's just keep going through this very weird list.
Well, we're sure you've seen the AI-generated content Trump has been posting on his platform, Truth Social. There's a deepfake video of him and Elon Musk dancing together, which is interesting, very emblematic of their current bromance. Then he's posted Kamala speaking to communists and images suggesting Taylor Swift endorsed him when she actually endorsed Kamala Harris.
Some of the strangest examples of this are the AI-generated memes of the very well-known Haitian migrants eating dogs and cats conspiracy. There's this meme showing a group of kittens holding a sign that said, "Don't let them eat us, vote for Trump." And another one that has a kitten holding a sign that says, "Kamala hates me."
Oh my goodness, it's so funny and it's so weird. But there's also a dark side to these memes because they've perpetuated the dangerous and false accusation about Haitian migrants that Democrats have called out as racist.
Yeah, there seems to be this racist, anti-minority undertone to what AI is reportedly being used for by these election denier groups. The Brennan Center for Justice has actually reported that this AI software is being used to remove eligible voters from voter registration lists and what they're calling a voter purge, and said that they're targeting specifically minorities.
Well, that really brings us back to True the Vote, the group we mentioned who wants to do the AI Dropbox surveillance and launch the Vote Alert website, because they have a storied history of making allegations that election officials in multiple states have said are racially charged.
True the Vote believes voter fraud is a sweeping national epidemic, has enlisted and trained an army of citizen volunteers to challenge voters in the name of what they call voter integrity. But Teresa and other Democrats say it's about voter suppression, specifically trying to intimidate low-income people, minorities, and students who might vote for President Obama.
There's somebody out here trying to scare people. Dear Mrs. Sharp, you are hereby notified that your right to vote has been challenged by a qualified elector.
Was there a racial component here?
I hate to attach that, but it does appear that there was that.
So let's get into the history. True the Vote was founded by Catherine Engelbrecht, who is just a normal Texas mom and Tea Party supporter. And in her words, she felt activated by Obama's election in 2008.
So she founded True the Vote to combat voter fraud and raise a cavalry to march on swing states. They said they witnessed busloads of non-citizens coming in from other states to vote, and they started deploying white poll watchers to majority black neighborhoods in Georgia.
This presence of white election observers in predominantly black neighborhoods has caused obviously discomfort and even friction among poll watchers and voters, which has called back this really dark time in American history when racial intimidation at the polls was really common, especially in the South.
They were one of the first groups to ever claim widespread voting fraud in the US.
And they keep at it for the next couple elections. And then comes 2016, when True the Vote makes up this claim that Hillary Clinton, who was the Democratic candidate, got 3 million illegal immigrant votes. They said that their database picked it up, but they never released any proof. And this is kind of the moment that True the Vote stops being this fringe group that no politician has ever really acknowledged to something bigger, because Trump, the president, validated this claim.
And the funny thing is, Trump lost the popular vote by 3 million votes. So I wonder how they picked that number.
Curious.
And behind the scenes, a lot of shady stuff was going on. So one of True the Vote's biggest investors sued the heads of the group for using his donation to enrich themselves and not to do their work. And Catherine was exposed for writing herself loans from the nonprofit's bank account, which is illegal. But of course, that didn't stop them, and they went on to help create the widespread theory that Biden didn't legally win the 2020 election.
That's already a lot of controversy to be embroiled in, and it just keeps going. So True the Vote provided the research for 2,000 Mules, which is an election controversy film that examines the allegations of widespread voter fraud in 2020. And the movie makes some extremist claims like Biden's victory in swing states is thanks to these people or mules by ballot trafficking.
See how they use like drug cartel language, mules and trafficking?
Literally. And they say that these people were paid by nonprofits or stash houses to basically stuff ballot boxes with fake votes. And it alleges that these mules were paid $10 for each ballot they submitted.
I think millions of Americans know something went wrong, and they have little pieces.
True the Vote has the largest store of election intelligence for the 2020 elections in the world. Philadelphia alone, we've identified more than 1,100 mules, 4 million minutes of surveillance video around the country.
Without free and fair elections, we are not a democracy. We are a criminal cartel masquerading as a democracy.
2,000 mules.
Well, this is where technology comes in, because True the Vote claimed they identified this unusual voting activity by using smartphone geolocation data. But that data is anonymized, so there would be no way to link it to anyone, even if it were true. But it's not. And earlier this year, True the Vote was forced to admit in court that they had no evidence to back up this claim, and 2,000 Mules distributor has now retracted the film.
But of course, this was after Trump held a private screening of 2,000 Mules at Mar-a-Lago. And this is all just to reiterate the fact that True the Vote really helped lead the campaign to contest the results of the 2020 election.
If Americans don't wake up and recognize, based upon our data, 2020 is beyond question, that outcome would have been different.
And that accusation has really permeated. 1/3 of American adults don't believe Biden truthfully won the 2020 election.
This has even gotten to law enforcement, which is pretty scary. There's this this group of sheriffs called constitutional sheriffs that genuinely believe that their power in their county supersedes that of state and federal authorities, and also joined True the Vote's mission. They have seized voting machines, pushed conspiracy theories, and this is really intense. One of the leaders is running a militia training course and advising people to get a standard AR-15 type military-grade weapon and 500 rounds of ammo.
Whoa. And just to clarify, there's no evidence that 2020 was anything other than free and fair. All of these claims have been debunked and disproven across the board, and it's not even partisan. It's the Republican elected officials much of the time, like in Arizona or Georgia or Pennsylvania, that are the ones working to reassure voters there was no widespread fraud or interference.
It seems like these election deniers and conspiracy theorists are really coming together to lay the groundwork to challenge the outcome of the election if it doesn't work out in their favor. And we've tracked True the Vote's techniques and strategies throughout the years and have seen that they're increasingly relying on technology to not only disrupt the election, but kind of use technology to back up their claims by kind of saying, okay, well, we have this AI run software, or we have this database that proves it.
Well, it makes sense why 26 states have passed or are considering bills regulating the use of generative AI in election-related communications.
And in February, major tech companies like OpenAI, Meta, Google, and Microsoft signed the Tech Accord to combat deceptive use of AI in 2024 elections at the Munich Security Conference to ensure safer elections.
Well, that does little to reassure me, but okay. We'll definitely be covering more AI in the future, but for now, be careful next week. Don't believe everything you see. There's going to be a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah, make sure to stay informed and cross-check everything that you see with multiple credible sources.
Like the news girls.